While Kukuru's grandfather and Fuka continue to draw comparisons between the dolphin and Kukuru, Kukuru runs off somewhere and decides to visit the Kame house. Not the Kami house, the Kame Housu. But this is my thoughts on episode 21 of Aquatope on White Sand, so let's jump into it. Most of this episode kind of focuses on both Fuka and Kukuru as they're dealing with the situation of Kukuru basically running away. On Fuka's side, she's just kind of worried about Kukuru to the point that she's kind of messing up with her job, at some point getting distracted, and this Popo decides to go into somebody else's territory, and the penguins start fighting. So she's a little bit distraught by that. I kind of have another one of those moments where I'm watching this show and I go, man, that reminds me of that one job. I used to have a job where, because at some point she has to write up a report to say what happened with Popo, and as she's kind of doing this whole report, at some point in the report she has to claim, I don't know if she has to, but she's claiming essentially that because this happened, going forward I will do such and such in order to prevent it from happening again. And I had a job once where that was a requirement. Every time something went wrong, like even the slightest thing, if something doesn't go the way that you plan it and it has to be reported, because obviously you need to report if something goes wrong, part of the reporting process was to record what you will do going forward to make sure it doesn't happen again. And the place was like very keen on the idea of creating new systems to undo that mistake. And I hated it because what happens is if somebody makes, several mistakes, you're creating new systems just to undo things, when all it really necessarily required was you to be more attentive. Not necessarily you need to create a whole new system just to prevent something. And what that ends up doing is creating more tasks that you have to do, which then makes you less attentive to do the normal tasks that you do. So the moment she typed that, I just had like this little bit of like PTSD to that whole situation. It's like, no, you don't have to create new systems. Just say that you're going to be more attentive. You will not fail to be attentive. Anyways, I just got a kick out of that. But yeah, Fuka was nicely kind of giving Kukuru her distance that she needs. She was obviously, the text that she was sending to Kukuru was very nice. It was very, look, I just want to know if you're okay. Just let me know if there's anything I can do, kind of stuff, which I thought was really cute. Though it doesn't last long because she ends up running after Kukuru anyways. But yeah, on Kukuru's side, we kind of have her go to Yamuruna Island. And there, I don't know why she decided to go. Like, she jumped on a ferry and just went to the most random island she can. But this is the island that Umion's wife works at. Apparently, they do their own separate things so much they barely get to see each other. But she's working on this island at the, I think it specified that she was working at the Kamihasu, but she was there as a researcher for the turtles. So she's basically going out there. Apparently some turtles have arrived on the beach side, laid some eggs. So she's with a research group that's kind of attending them, making sure that they're barricaded off, nobody steps on where the eggs are planted, because they're just kind of put in the beach side, so anybody can just walk in and step on them. So they kind of barricade them and monitor them for the point that they'll actually hatch and go out to sea. But yeah, she basically gives her a place to stay and suggests to Kukuru to go visit the Kamihasu, because obviously she's a little upset by the fact that she didn't get to see Gama Gama before it was basically demolished. Which I thought was cute, because this Kamihasu was like the smallest aquarium possible. It's just like a little small, almost like a house. But she does claim that when she gets in there, it's a lot bigger inside than outside. But yeah, they had this little information sign up that was like claiming they had like 3,000 cows there. So you get an idea of what this island's mostly about. It's just farmland. It's like Nananbiori in the Aquatope universe. Have these kids kind of walking around. And I was like, I'm just waiting for Renge to walk right by. But yeah, very, very much so a culture, an agriculture type island, just full of cows. More cows than actual people. But it's cute because this aquarium was pretty much Gama Gama. Like, she even points it out, like, this is so much like Gama Gama, just very laid back, just walk in, 220 yen to get inside. They have little games to play with the kids when they come in to search for certain fish. And obviously the attendant pretty much points out that the grandfather was his teacher, taught him a lot of things about, having the kids come in to do things just to kind of get them to love the aquarium. And even though a side of me was like, okay, this is where Kukuru's going to stay. Like she's found a new job. She's going to call up and quit Tengara. I don't think it's going that route, but it was a nice little refreshing. It was literally a way for Kukuru to say goodbye to Gama Gama without actually going to Gama Gama, which doesn't exist anymore. But in the end, it kind of wraps it up with Kukuru going to the hatching of the turtles and Fuka obviously finding out where she's at and coming there and watching it with her. Which I think at this point Kukuru deserves, or I think Kukuru needs to give Fuka like tons of sorries because of all the crap that she's putting Fuka through. Oh, I did get a kick out of the fact that Kai points out that Fuka was like imitating Kukuru at some point, because when Fuka told Sua where that Kukuru was sick and not going to be there, she's like saying all these different excuses, and he's like, oh, so she's faking being sick, but she didn't show up, so we're gonna have to deal with that. Fuka gets all mad and starts walking around doing the jab thing that Kukuru does, and eventually bumps into Kai, and Kai's like, well, that was a good imitation of Kukuru, and she's like, what are you talking about? And then he starts getting embarrassed. I thought that was an excellent scene. Yeah, I didn't mention my last episode impressions, but they're drawing way too much comparisons with the dolphin with Kukuru. And it was interesting because I thought that it's eventually at some point the dolphin would be the center point of the place that Kukuru wants to open up. But I don't think that they're playing off that yet, because when the grandfather comes there, he's like, no, look, we can't just take him and put him into the aquarium. I think maybe it was Fuka that said it to the children. He has a family to go to. It's just kind of, he's lost. He's run into some problem. He's lost. And again, it's technically the last 2 episodes been drawing comparisons between the dolphin and Kukuru. I'm assuming that when Kukuru comes back to Tingara and everything, the dolphin will probably find its way just to finish off that comparison between the two of them. But obviously that does lead me into my concerns with the series. Like I said in the last episode, I was hoping that this wouldn't be the climax of the show, and I really do feel like it's going to be that. Like, episode 22 is going to be Fuka and Kukuru talking a bunch, and maybe the later half of the episode coming back to Tingara. And then I think that's only going to leave us literally episode 23 to really have her open up that section, and then 24 to have an after story. My only hope at this point for this story to have a really solid conclusion or really solid climax is to have some sort of deep meaning behind the section that Kukuru will eventually open. Because right now, if this is the climax, is Kukuru running away and going to Kamehasu and saying goodbye to Gama Gama, I don't feel like it's not powerful enough. I'm assuming they're going to have this big emotional, impactful moment between Fuka and Kukuru next episode, but I don't know if that's enough. And that's really been my struggle this entire series for this second core, is getting that impact for this later half, because the second core has not really been that powerful. But we'll see. We'll let PA Works decide if they're going to really knock it out of the park or not, but as it stands now, I'm worried. I'm worried because we only have literally 3 more episodes, but that's my thoughts on episode 21 of Aquatope and White Sand. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like down below, comment, let me know how the episodes, subscribe if you haven't already, share this video if you can, support us on Patreon if you can, or in the tips link in the description below. We definitely appreciate everybody that does, and y'all take care.